to ensure that they are appropriately prioritized, with the priority being placed upon the protection of life and safety of everyone in the community.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I'm Brian Jackson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning.
Public outrage in Minneapolis and across Chicago after a woman is shot and killed during an incident involving ICE.
A new report from the Chicago Public Schools Inspector General shows ongoing issues inside the school district.
And taking a live look outside, so far it's a calm Thursday morning for the Chicago area, but how soon will we see the start of rain coming through Chicago? Well, Mike Kaplan knows the answer. Good morning to you, Mike. I already kind of feel it brewing, guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
You do? You feel something?
Just like the moisture in the air, you know?
Well, it's unusually mild. I'll show you the current temps here in a little bit. And, you know, January, we're usually talking about snow. This time it's going to be rain and even possible thunderstorms. You can see the cloud cover already beginning to increase, coming in from the southwest. And eventually it is going to become mostly cloudy here. But temperatures are already way above normal. It's 42 at O'Hare, 40 at Waukegan. A little bit colder around Joliet, where it's 34, but it's 41 at Gary. Today, prepare for a dry start to the day, with temperatures quickly climbing to 52 at noon, and then rain will be moving in here late in the afternoon with a temperature of 53 at 4. But that's not even the warmest part of the day. I'll tell you how warm it's going to get late tonight and discuss the threat of thunderstorms in just a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Mike. We're following breaking news out of Utah. At least 2 people are dead and 8 others are hurt following a shooting outside of a church.
Well, it happened in the parking lot of the Mormon church. A funeral service was being held just outside the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City. Dozens of people were in attendance when the shots were fired. All of the victims are adults. So far, that suspect is still on the loose, and police do not believe this was a random act.
Should never have happened outside a place of worship. It should not have happened at a celebration of life that was occurring inside of the church tonight. Our condolences continue to grow, and we know that this impacts not only those victims and their families, the community that was at the church, but the entire community here in Salt Lake City and on the west side.
Police say about 3 of the victims injured in the shooting are now in critical condition. Tensions are high in Minneapolis after a shooting involving ICE agents leaves a woman dead. DHS claims the shooting was in self-defense, and the woman, identified as Renee Nicole Good, was targeting an agent with her vehicle. Now, it's not clear if the vehicle actually struck the agent. But meanwhile, Minnesota officials and other witnesses say shots were fired at the car while the woman was driving away.
Officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself.
Shots being fired as the car was driving away. The narrative that this was just done in self-defense is a garbage narrative. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
Minnesota officials are coordinating with the FBI on this investigation.
Local leaders back here at home and residents in Little Village came together on Wednesday night to hold an emergency vigil for that Minneapolis woman. They're calling for a full and independent investigation into her death. They also want immediate accountability for all officials responsible and for transparency from both DHS and ICE regarding the use of force in operational conduct.
That unity, that fierce, practical, daily love for one another is what makes us unbreakable. An unbreakable community united by people, that is what abolishes ICE. Not just policy change, but a force of humanity so powerful that it cannot be contained by their cages or their bullets.
Organizers say that they will continue to demand answers from the investigation and are urging federal agencies to release more information about the incident.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson was critical of the Minnesota shooting. The mayor says the situation is similar to what people experienced here in Chicago.
At the start of their operation in Chicago, an ICE agent killed a father, Saverio Villegas Gonzalez, under very similar conditions in his car right after dropping his children off at school. It is incidents like these that demonstrate why we have pushed back against reckless and racist militarized immigration enforcement in Chicago. When we have rogue, masked federal agents killing people on our streets, we are all less safe.
The mayor went on to say the president's administration is lying about what happened. He's also demanding accountability.
Illinois Representative Robin Kelly says she will file articles of impeachment. She wrote in a post on X that she will be working to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Kelly claims Noem is violating the Constitution. In the post, she wrote that Noem wreaked havoc in the Chicago area and has now brought terror to Minneapolis.
A Northwest Indiana sheriff's police officer is recovering at the hospital after a high-speed chase ended in a head-on crash. The chase began shortly after 6 p.m. near the intersection of 9th Avenue and Ralston Street in Gary. The Lake County Sheriff's Office says the suspect's vehicle was heading north at a high rate of speed when it struck a patrol vehicle head-on. The officer was taken to a hospital for multiple cuts and other injuries. The suspect was taken into custody. No word yet on what charges they could face. The civil trial against Boeing is set to begin on Monday in Chicago. You may remember Boeing took a plea deal in 2024 to avoid a criminal trial.
There were 2 fatal plane crashes in 2018 and in 2019, which resulted in the worldwide grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX plane. Our Brett Bugansky explains why for one family, this is their one shot at justice.
March 10th, 2019. A Boeing 737 MAX plane in Ethiopia crashes. 157 people were on board. No one survived.
There are families here who are stuck on anger. They'll never, ever get over what happened.
Like Nadia Milron, who spoke outside a federal court in Texas in September.
My daughter died on a new airplane that was defective and that was in operation because they weren't complying with regulations and because of fraud.
Boeing agreed to a $2.5 billion settlement with the Justice Department and another $1.1 billion in fines and compensation for the crash victims' families. Boeing pleaded guilty to defrauding the government for 2 fatal crashes in 2018 and 2019, including the crash in Ethiopia. Milron felt without a criminal trial, there's no accountability for Boeing, which is why some are filing their own lawsuits against Boeing, including the family of U.S. Army Captain Antoine Lewis from Madison, Illinois.
Antoine wanted to retire from the military and live somewhere in Africa. He didn't know where. He was visiting different places to find out where.
The family settled their lawsuit last April, but starting Monday, a new one with a different family.
3 generations of a family were wiped out. We are talking about claims that are multi-million dollars, tens of millions of dollars, even hundreds of millions of dollars.
Robert Clifford is representing Minot Veja, who is suing Boeing in federal court here in Chicago for the deaths of his mother, father, and sister. He also lost his nieces and nephew, one as young as 9 months old, in the plane crash.
Boeing stumbles over itself to say how sorry they are, but they never once will acknowledge what they're sorry about.
Do they feel this civil trial is their only shot at accountability?
Well, certainly for this particular family, the answer is yes.
In a statement to Fox Chicago, Boeing said in part, "We are deeply sorry to all those who lost loved ones on Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. We made an upfront commitment to fully and fairly compensate the families of those who were lost and have accepted legal responsibility for the accidents in these proceedings."
Clifford told me he expects jury selection to start Monday at 8:30 in the morning, and he expects that opening statements could begin as early as Tuesday. We're outside the Dirksen Federal Building. Brett Bugansky, Fox Chicago.
Well, just days after the Chicago School Board voted to raise property taxes, a scathing report from the CPS Inspector General finds massive fraud inside the school district, including $1 million in fines. Chicago Public Schools has agreed to pay the government after admitting to submit fraudulent grant applications involving student enrollment data. The report also highlighting a former CPS principal who left to run a charter school in Indiana, but not before defrauding the district out of nearly $89,000 in a phony billing scheme. In total, the Inspector General's office received more than 1,200 complaints.
With a district of this size, with a budget of this size, history has shown there's plenty of opportunities for abuse and wrongdoing, and that's why it's important that we work these cases.
The Inspector General's report also found a special education teacher with CPS was operating an OnlyFans page that included explicit videos and photographs of herself. Some of them were reportedly taken inside of her school's bathroom.
4:39, let's talk some baseball. The Chicago Cubs made a surprising trade to help bolster their bullpen.
But it also led to sending away their top hitting prospect. Mike Kaplan joins us this morning. Mike, this one caught everybody kind of off guard.
Yeah, but at least they're doing some moves. I'm okay with this. Shake things up. If you didn't know, the Cubs traded for right-hander Edward Cabrera. He was playing with the Marlins last year. Cabrera posted a career-best 3.53 ERA last season, along with career highs in starts, innings pitched, and strikeouts. He is under team control for the next 3 seasons and is considered a great addition to the starting rotation. So what did the Cubs give up to get him? Well, they're sending the Marlins Owen Casey and 2 other prospects. Casey was the Cubs' top prospect. He played in 12 major league games last year. This is the 2nd straight offseason. The Cubs traded a top prospect. As you recall, last year they sent Cam Smith to Houston as part of the Kyle Tucker trade deal anyway, and he is still a free agent. To the NBA and the association, the Bulls lose on the road to the Detroit Pistons. 4th quarter, Pistons up 5 off the miss. Pistons get it back. Danis Jenkins alley-oop to Isaiah Stewart for the Jam. Stewart had a career-high 31 points. Bulls go on to lose big, 108-93. Better news on the ice. The Blackhawks, they're mourning the loss of Hall of Fame goaltender Glenn Hall. This is not the good news. It's what happened in the game afterwards. Hall spent 10 of his 18 seasons with the Blackhawks, won the Stanley Cup with them in '61. He played, there are some records in sports that just aren't going to be broken, and this is one of them. He played as a goalie 502 consecutive games across 8 seasons, and during that stretch, as you can see here, he never wore a mask. At the end of his career, he put on a mask, and he's also credited with coming up with the butterfly style of goaltending, which is now just widespread. Blackhawks retired as #1 back in 1988. His nickname, Mr. Goalie. He was 94 years old, one of the best to ever lace him up. All right. The good news here, the Hawks picked up a big win over the Blues. Late in the first period, the Blackhawks down 1-0 when Oliver Moore finds Nick Lardis on the one-timer, his 3rd goal of the year. Bennington did not have it last night. Connor Murphy gets a slap shot. He's going to score on this one. That is his 1st goal of the season. Also in the 2nd period, this one's going to be Colton Dock. He's going to get the puck and shoots through a traffic of St. Louis players. He's going to get the goal. Watch it right here. I don't think the Bennington ever saw that one. Blackhawks win easily. 7 different players score for the Hawks, and that ends up a 7-3 victory. Let's look at today's schedule. The Bulls are back home. They'll be hosting the Miami Heat. Tip-off for that one is set at 7. Men's college hoops, Northwestern will take on Sparty at 5:30, and the Illini will host Rutgers at 7:30. All right, let's talk about the weather. Out there right now, everything's quiet. It was nice to see the stars. The moon is out there right now. And if you didn't know better, if you hadn't been watching our forecast, you might not know, oh, that's right, it's supposed to be some rain coming in here. Kids going to the bus stop, though, this morning, I really think for the most part it's going to be dry. There might be a little bit of rain sneaking in at 3, so give them a raincoat. But I don't think they're going to need that heavy winter jacket. I go with a medium jacket here. Look at noon, already 52. Won't be raining yet. But by 3, I think rain will be moving in the area with temperatures well into the 50s. It's 40 at Woodstock, 38 Chicago Heights, 41 at LaSalle, Peru, Gary, and Merrillville, and Chicago's lakefront posting a 40. Here's our future cast. We start out with clear skies, but cloud cover is going to thicken up here pretty quickly. Rain moves in here during the afternoon. By 2 o'clock, most of us getting in on the rain. Watch what happens, though, during the evening hours. Look at this. 8 o'clock, these are thunderstorms coming through here, and some of those could have some pretty gusty winds. There's a non-zero chance that we could even have a severe thunderstorm mixed in there. The showers will continue dwindling overnight, so that I think by tomorrow morning there's not much left of this thing. During the day tomorrow, cloud cover will break up a little bit, but temperatures will be falling. Remember, as we said yesterday, the high for Friday is going to be happening during the wee hours of the morning. Tomorrow night is quiet, and then we get to Saturday, and that's when snow will be moving into the area. I'm not expecting a big accumulation. Probably start off a little rain-snow combo platter, but for the Bears game, might actually see a little dusting of snow out there. 58 for the high. That high happens tonight. Rain moving in here probably between about 2 and 3 o'clock. I'll give you the full 7-day forecast here in just a little bit.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, coming up on Good Day, could the U.S. take over Greenland?
What lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are saying after President Trump pitched this idea.
I'm Lou Pinellas.
Here's a look at our top stories. A woman is dead following an incident with ICE agents in Minneapolis. DHS claims the shooting was in self-defense, and the woman, identified as Renee Nicole Good, was targeting an agent with her vehicle. But Minnesota officials and other witnesses say shots were fired at the car while the woman was driving away.
A report from the CPS Inspector General finds major issues inside the school district. This includes $1 million in fines, a former CPS principal defrauding the district out of nearly $89,000, and a special education teacher operating an OnlyFans page.
The Cubs make a big move in free agency, trading for right-hand pitcher Edward Cabrera from the Miami Marlins. He's under team control for the next 3 seasons. The Cubs did have to send their top prospect, Owen Casey, and 2 others to Miami.
Well, U.S. forces took control of 2 more oil tankers as part of an ongoing crackdown of Venezuela's illegal oil exports. One of the ships was chased by the U.S. Coast Guard for more than 2 weeks from the Caribbean to the North Atlantic. Oil is Venezuela's main revenue source now that Nicolas Maduro is out of power and currently in U.S. custody. The Trump administration briefed lawmakers Wednesday about its plans for Venezuela moving forward. But Democrats are calling for public hearings so that Americans can hear the plans as well.
People are just saying, what the hell is going on? We need answers as to how long this is going to last.
If people could hear everything that we just heard, I think they'd have a renewed confidence in that, in both the planning leading up to it and the planning going forward.
President Trump says it's too early to talk about elections in Venezuela.
Tensions over Greenland continue to heat up, but a growing number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill say any military moves could be a non-starter. President Trump renewed his push to take over the Danish territory after capturing Maduro. Earlier this week, Danish officials warned an attack on Greenland will mean the end of NATO. But the White House responded by refusing to rule out any military action. But now Republicans in Congress are signaling that they won't support any attempt to take the territory by force. Some going even further, claiming an attack on Greenland without congressional approval would be illegal.
Stuff about military action and all that, I don't think it's I don't even think that's a possibility.
It's not a present threat, and so they have duly elected president, so he doesn't have the authority without Congress.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to meet with his Danish counterpart next week in an effort to de-escalate tensions.
Well, people who have federal college loans in defaults will start losing money from their paychecks. The Trump administration is starting wage garnishment again. They can take up to 15% of your paycheck after taxes if you're in default. There is a law, though, that makes sure you still have enough money for your basic needs. About 1,000 people in default will get the warning first.
A merger between Warner Brothers and Paramount is looking more unlikely. Warner Brothers rejected another bid from the company. Its board says the offer is not in the best interest of the company or its shareholders. It is pushing shareholders to back its existing $83 billion agreement with Netflix.
All right, time's down 4:50. I was going to say 4:49, but it's almost 4:50 right on the dot this morning. Checking in with Mike this morning. We got some moisture in the air, but likely rain, not snow.
That's right. At least initially, there is a chance for some snow sneaking into the 7-day forecast, though. But what's coming in here tonight and into very early tomorrow is going to be all in the liquid form. Here's our Weather Authority Futurecast. Let's talk about how much rain is going to fall. And this could be a real soaker here, especially in those areas that may pick up a thunderstorm. I think that may be most likely southeast of I-55. Granted, you know, the exact placement, we're for sure that Chicago Heights is going to get the 2 inches, or might that be displaced a little farther away? The message here is there will be some variety in the rainfall numbers, but my way of thinking, this is a significant jump up from what I thought it would be yesterday at this time, when I was thinking more like 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Now I think a lot of us are going to get somewhere between 1/2 inch and maybe 1 1/4 inches of rainfall. 58 for the high today. Rain moves in the afternoon. Any morning sunshine quickly giving way to cloud cover. It's going to be windy, it's going to be rainy, and there will be some scattered thunderstorms tonight, with the low by daybreak tomorrow getting down to 45 degrees. But at midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it will still be in the upper 50s. The warmest part of the day is when a lot of us will be sleeping tomorrow. Majority of tomorrow just mostly cloudy, no precip. Then on Saturday, we get some rain mixing with some wet snow. And by the time the Bears are playing, there could be a few snow showers out there as temperatures drop below freezing. 32 for the high Sunday, then back into the low 40s Monday and Tuesday. Another little mixed bag of precip coming in on Wednesday.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, there's a contest where people will compete to see who looks more like Bears head coach Ben Johnson.
Oh, I love these. Okay, we'll have the details right after this break. Welcome back. Efforts are underway to save a historical building in Geneva. The blacksmith shop sits near the corner of East State and North Bennett Street, dating back to the 1840s. Wow. Some people say the building is an eyesore, while others say it has a historical significance to the town.
The purpose of putting this model together was to help people visualize what it looked like then, because now if you go by and look at it for at least the last 7 or 8 years, it's pretty much a ruins in there. In fact, it's getting more decrepit every year because no one's taking care of it, and the weathering is just is not doing good things to it. So we put this model together so people could visualize what the possibilities are, and what we hope will happen is that in the future it can be restored and perhaps made into an economic development and visitor information center.
The building remains as the oldest surviving industrial structure there in Geneva. This is the third time officials have tried to demolish it. The city council will discuss the shop next Monday.
Well, Lego reveals an upgrade to its classic building blocks. These smart play bricks look like regular Lego pieces, but they have built-in AI chips. These chips let bricks interact by lighting up or making sounds when they get near each other. The high-tech bricks launch in March, debuting a new Star Wars building set.
Okay, think you look like, or maybe someone you know looks like Bears coach Ben Johnson? Well, Bedford Park is doing a look-alike contest tonight. It's from 5 to 8 at Wintrust Sports Complex. Any age can enter and just show up looking the part. First place wins a $1,000 Visa gift card plus some year-long freebies. Second and third place also take home some cash and other prizes. The Village recommends all contestants to arrive early. Again, from what was it, 5 to 8 tonight at Wintrust?
Yeah, well, whoever it is,
people.
They got to be ripped because Coach Johnson, you can even tell in that shirt there.
I was going to wonder whether you have to take your shirt off as part of the contest, as he did there. It's too bad they didn't have a contest for the Matt Nagy coach look-alike contest, because we have a guy who works with us, Ed Flynn, who is one of our drone guys.
That's
one of the drone rangers. I never thought about that.
He is a splitting image for former Bears coach Matt Nagy. All right, we have clear skies to partly cloudy skies out there right now, but there's a storm system on the way, and it's going to bring rain, and it's also going to bring unseasonably warm temperatures. I mean, it's already and has been much warmer than normal. We made it up to 44 yesterday. We're going to beat that today, despite this increase in cloud cover that you see happening right now. And I want to show you where there's a risk of severe thunderstorms today, because there is a small chance that parts of the Chicago area could get a stronger thunderstorm. You can see this reaches from the southern plains up into the southern portion of Lake Michigan. This includes Joliet. This includes Kankakee and pretty much all of you in northwest Indiana. Primary risk here would be damaging straight line winds. This isn't a hail setup, really isn't a tornado setup, but there could be some stronger wind gusts. So yeah, thunderstorms again in winter, more so than snow in this forecast. So today we're going to crank it up to 58. But the warmest part of the day is going to be late at night. Strange, I know, but that's how it's going to play out. Rain moves in by late afternoon. And by late afternoon, I'm talking about maybe 3 o'clock. Granted, in the summertime, that's mid-afternoon, but with the sun setting at about 4:30, that would be late afternoon. Tonight, showers and scattered thunderstorms with temperatures during most of the night holding steady. By daybreak tomorrow, it will have fallen to 45 degrees. And that's also when the rain should be ending. I think by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, there's really nothing left here in terms of rainfall. 58 for the high overnight tomorrow. Then temps falling into the 40s. We'll hit 40 on Saturday. A little bit of rain mixing with some snow. Not expecting a big accumulation, but it will likely be snowing at some point during that Bears game, at least lightly. And then we'll have some more slightly wintry conditions going into next week. 2 minutes before 5 a.m. We're coming right back.
We have hot water.